Greetings in the bonds of peace, and welcome to the Vision on the Ishi. My name is Dr. Sean Lyons. I am a forever student of divine vision and revelation given to the founder of the Institute of Divine Metaphysical Research, Dr. Henry, who had his vision and revelation in the year of 1931 in the state of Ohio at 9 a.m., June 6th. First watch, third hour, and day of Pentecost according to Yahweh's prophetic timetable given to the Hebrew nation. Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley proved these facts on 3 ecclesiastical peace missions around the world to every religious organization and school of the highest learning from 1958 to 1976. As a result of his divine vision and revelation, he transcribed God, the archetype, original pattern of the universe. This publication was given to every queen and king of the earth and their progenies, including all presidents elect until 1980. Along with a Holy Name Version Bible. Revised by A.B. Trainer, an Italian Hebrew. The Holy Name Bible reveals the true and correct name of the Heavenly Father and His Son. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. His divine title is Elohim. The name of the Son is Yahshua, the Messiah, who the whole world erroneously calls Jesus Christ. Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley revealed to the world on his peace mission and within his publication, the threefold tabernacle pattern that Yahweh Elohim had given to Moses upon Mount Sinai in the year of 1490 BBY. And commanded Moses to build one exactly like it in the wilderness of Sinai, which was the establishment of the Mosaic law and cardinal ordinances. Yahweh Elohim had led the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, instituting the Passover. After 40 years, Yahweh Elohim had commissioned Moses to place his hand upon Yahshua, the son of Nun, in the audience of the children of Israel, to give Yahshua, the son of Nun, charge to lead the people over into Canaan's land before Moses had entered into Mount Nebo. 33 days later, Eleazar and the sons of Aaron, bearing the ark of the covenant, placed the soles of their feet upon the river Jordan, and it opened up like unto the Red Sea. Therefore, Yahshua, the son of Nun, commissioned 12 men of valor to retrieve 12 stones as a witness unto the children of Israel that Yahweh Elohim had opened up the Red Sea like he did the river Jordan to fulfill his promise to Father Abraham 430 years before the law, that the children of Israel would receive Canaan's land for their inheritance. Yahshua, therefore, had numbered the children of Israel, confirming the seed of circumcision to the cherubim Michael, captain of the hosts of Yahweh, before their 40-year conquest, to receive Canaan's land for their inheritance and to remove the reproach of Egypt from the children of Israel once they entered into Canaan's land. 480 years after the departure out of the land of Egypt, the foundation of this temple was laid. 7 years to the completion of this temple in correlation to the 7 days of creation. In like manner, according to the 3 phenomenal days, a day for a year, it took 3 years to defer, so that all the instruments within this particular tabernacle will be placed within the temple of King Solomon. This is a total of a 490-year cycle. The same divine service that was carried out for 40 years in the wilderness of Sinai was carried out for 33 years within the temple of King Solomon, before the invasion and destruction of Jerusalem and this temple by the king of Egypt, King Shishak. John on the Epistle of Patmos, therefore, can bear witness that Yahshua was the true Messiah and Lamb of Yahweh. John bear witness that Yahshua told the Pharisees and scribes of his day to destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it again. But he spoke of the temple of his body. In like manner, John bear record that when the centurion guard pierced Yahshua within the side, that forthwith came blood and butter. Yahshua had therefore offered himself one time unto the Father through his eternal Spirit to remove sin in the flesh by the operation of his death, burial, resurrection, ascension, and outpouring of the Holy Spirit, June 6, 33 AD, whereupon the 120 in the upper room was persecuted for 7 years, preaching that Yahshua was the Messiah and the fulfillment of the law of Moses. According to the 70 years of servitude, that in the process of time in AD 40, the Gentile nation will be engrafted into the body of the Messiah as one man, by the preaching and believing in the salvation, which was once given unto the children of Israel, or the sons of Elohim. Fulfilling his promise to Father Abraham, that all nations of the earth shall be blessed through thy seed singular, which is Yahshua the Messiah. These illustrations can be found on page 42 in the 1961 edition and page 69 in the 12th edition of God the Archetype, Original Pattern of the Universe, called The Comparative Analysis or Apocalyptic Confirmation of Moses and John of the Creation. Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley had given us rules of engagement pertaining to his vision, that the manifestation would change, but the principle will remain the same. That being said, study to show thyself approved, a workman who needs not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. And may the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, teach you all things. My aims and objectives are to help you find Yahshua, the Messiah, in your heart and in your mind. 1 Corinthians 15, 1 through 5. 1 Corinthians 6, 17 through 20. 2 Corinthians 3, verses 1 through 6. My second aim and objective is to show you how Yahweh wrote his laws in your inward parts. Jeremiah 31, 31, Hebrews 8, 10 through 13. My third aim and objective is to help you discern the sons of Elohim and the sons of the devil. 1 John 3rd chapter, 1 John 4th chapter, verses 1 through 10. My fourth aim and objective is to show and prove that Yahshua is the true Elohim, whom Yahweh have sent. 1 John 5 and 20, John 17 and 3. My fifth aim and objective is to reveal that the children of faith in Yahshua the Messiah are the true seed of Abraham. Galatians 3 and 26 through verse 29. My sixth aim and objective is to make all men see what is the fellowship of the mystery, which from the beginning of the age have been hid in Yahweh, who created all things by Yahshua the Messiah. Ephesians 3 and 9. My seventh aim and objective, to endeavor to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bonds of peace. Ephesians 4 and 3. My eighth aim and objective is to press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of Yahweh in Yahshua the Messiah. Philippians 3 and 14. My ninth aim and objective is to make known what is the riches of the glory of this mystery among the nations, which is the Messiah in you, the hope of glory. Colossians 1 and 27. My 10th aim and objective is proving the existence and destruction of Satan and his demons through the dispensation and ages. Romans 1:18 through verse 32 and Romans 2 verses 1 through 16. At this particular time, we'll be having a prayer, our scripture reading, announcement, our script ascertainment, perception, and direction exam. We'll be having a speaker, our doxology, which is Ephesians 3:20 through 21. At this particular time, we'll be having a prayer. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for allowing your servant another opportunity, Heavenly Father, to preach thy great gospel. I thank you, Heavenly Father, for being the Elohim that gives just want to tell you, Heavenly Father, thank you. You are greatly appreciated, Heavenly Father, even through chastisement, Heavenly Father, persecution, Heavenly Father, through all things, Heavenly Father, for your words fulfill true. You said that you would never leave us nor forsake us, Heavenly Father. You spoke true, and it is the understatement. I ask, Heavenly Father, that you dwell within my temple, mighty, holy, Heavenly Father, for thy praise, Heavenly Father, for thy glory. I ask, Heavenly Father, that you allow me to preach the gospel, Heavenly Father, as you have given it unto me, as clear as the air, Heavenly Father, between me and the camera. I pray, Heavenly Father, that you that speak, Heavenly Father, not me, but the glory of your own kingdom. I just ask that you use me mightily in my temple, mightily. I thank you for being my master. I thank you for being my savior. I thank you for loving me, Heavenly Father, and cleansing me, Heavenly Father, with thy holy blood. I thank you, Yahshua, in the name of your name, Yahshua, for the things that you have done for my family, my spiritual family, as well as my physical family. I'm honored to be a servant. And I just ask, Heavenly Father, allow me to serve you in righteousness. At this particular time, we'll be having a scripture lesson out of the Holy Name Bible, critically compared with ancient authorities and various manuscripts revised by A.B. Trainer. I will attempt to read the book of Zephaniah. The word of Yahweh, which came unto Zephaniah, the son of Cushi, the son of Gedaliah, the son of Amariah, the son of Hezekiah, in the days of Josiah, the son of Amon, king of Yahweh. I will utterly consume all things off the land, saith Yahweh. I will consume man and beast. I will consume the fowls of the heavens and the fish of the sea and the idols with the wicked, and I will cut off man from off of the land, saith Yahweh. I will also stretch out my hand upon Judah and upon all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and I will cut off the remnant of Baal from this place in the name of the Shemarims, with the priests and them that worship the host of heaven upon the housetops, and them that worship and that swear by Yahweh, and that swear by Malcham. And then they are turned back from Yahweh, and those that have not sought Yahweh, nor inquire for him, hold thy peace at the presence of Yahweh. For the day of Yahweh is at hand. For Yahweh has prepared a sacrifice. He hath fed his guests. And it shall come to pass in the day of Yahweh's sacrifice that I will punish the princes and the king's children, and all such are clothed with strange apparel. In the same day also I will punish all those that leap on the threshold, which fill their masters' houses with violence and deceit. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and the howling from the second, and the great crashing from the hills. Howl, ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchants' people are cut down, all that are bare silver are cut off. And it shall come to pass at that time that I will stretch Jerusalem with candles and punish the men that are settled on their lease, that say in their heart, Yahweh will not do good, neither heed to evil. Therefore, their goods shall become a booty, and their house a desolation. They shall also build houses, but not inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards, but not drink the wine thereof. The great day of Yahweh is near. It is near, and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of Yahweh, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of waste and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of cloud and thick darkness, a day of trumpet and an alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against Yahweh, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as their dust. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yahweh's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by fire of his jealousy, and he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Chapter 2. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nations, not desirous of repentance. Before the decree bring forth before the day pass, as the chaff, before the fierce anger of Yahweh cometh upon you. Before the day of Yahweh's anger come upon you, seek Yahweh, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment, seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of Yahweh's anger. For Gaza shall be forsaken, as Ashkelon a desolate, and they shall drive out Ashdod at the noonday, and Ekron shall be rooted up. Woe unto the inhabitants of the sea coast, the nations of the chariots, the Cherethites. The word of Yahweh is against you, O Canaan, the land of the Philistines. I will even destroy thee, that there shall be no inhabitants, and the sea coasts be dwellings and cottages for sheep herds and folds for flocks. And the coast shall be for the remnant of the house of Yahudah. They shall feed thereupon in the house of Ashkelon. They shall lie down in the evening, for Yahweh their Elohim shall visit them and turn away their captivity. I have heard the reproach of Moab and the revealing of the children of Ammon, whereby they have reapproached my people and magnified themselves against their God. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah, even the breeding of nettles and salt pits, and a perpetual desolation. The residue of my people shall spoil them, and the remnant of my people shall possess them. This shall they have for their pride, because they have reapproached and magnified themselves against the people of Yahweh of hosts. Yahweh will be terrible unto them, for he will famish all the idols of the earth, and men shall worship him, every one from his place, even all the isles of the heathen. The Ethiopians also, ye shall be slain by my sword. And he will stretch out his hand against the north and destroy Assyria, and will make Nineveh a desolation, and dry like a wilderness. And flocks shall lie down in the midst of her, all the beasts of the nations, both the cormorant and the bittern shall lodge in the upper lintels of it. Their voice shall sing in the windows, desolation shall be in the thresholds, for he shall uncover the cedar work. This is the rejoicing cry that dwelleth carelessly, that said in their heart, I am, and there is none besides me. How is she become a desolation, a place for beasts to lie down? Everyone that passeth by her shall hiss and wag his head. Chapter 3. Woe to her that is guilty and polluted, to the oppressing city. She obeyed not the voice, the received not correction. She trusted not in Yahweh. She drew not near to her alone. Her prince within her are roaring lions. Her judges are evening wolves. They leave not the bones till the morrow. Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary. They have done violence to the law. Yahweh, the just El, is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doeth he bring his judgment for life. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. I have cut off the nations, their towers are desolate. I made their streets waste, that none pass by. Their cities are desolate, so that there is no man, that there is none inhabited. I said, surely thou wilt fear me, thou wilt receive it instructed, so their dwelling should not be cut off. However, I punished them, but they rose early and corrupt all their doings. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh, until the day I raise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even as all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yahweh to serve him with one accord. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughters of my distress shall bring mine offering. In that day shalt thou be ashamed for all thy doom wherein thou hast transgressed against me. For then I will take away out of the midst of thee them that rejoice in my pride, and thou shalt no more be haughty because of my mountain. I will also have in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of Yahweh. The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth, for they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. Sing, O daughters of Zion, shout, O Israel, be glad and rejoice with all the heart, O daughters of Jerusalem. Yahweh hath taken away thy punishment. He hath cast out thine enemy, the king of Israel. Even Yahweh is in the midst of thee. Thou shalt not see evil anymore. In that day it shall be said to Jerusalem, fear the pot, and to Zion, let not thy hand be slack. Yahweh thy Elohim in the midst of thee is mighty. He will say, he will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing. I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemnly assembly who are of thee, to whom the reproach of it was a burden. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will gather her that hateth, and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, and I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith Yahweh. I have read unto you the book of Zephaniah. At this particular time, we have announcements. Our announcements for this evening's class from Dr. Johnson will not be joining us. Elder Van Hook will not be joining us this evening. I would like to say, I would like to thank all of everyone who has been viewing our sites. I thank you for your comments, the good one as well as the bad. And I would like to say that if you are a member of the Institute of Divine Metaphysical Research, I would like to ask you to go back to our first 42 lectures. Those first 42 lectures, we are going over all the fundamental principles using all of the charts and of our books within our school system. I believe that you will find it very edifying if you have not seen all the charts used and heard the purpose of Yahweh from the beginning to end. So that being said, that will conclude our announcements, and we will be getting into our perception and direction exam. And our first ecology. Our first ecology takes us this evening to Brazil. It says here that Brazil reigns minus furious hit by deadly landslide and floods. Thousands of residents had to leave their homes across the state. Landslides and flooding caused by torrential rains have killed at least 15 people in southeastern Brazil. Officials say the victims died between Sunday and Tuesday. In Minas Gerais state, where rivers have overflowed, leaving towns partially submerged, more than 28,000 people have had to leave their homes. Authorities are monitoring dams that could burst as more downpours could affect the hardest hit areas. 5 people from the same family, 2 of their children, were found buried on a hillside near the state capital, Belo Horizonte. In the city of Sao Gonçalo do Rio Aba, an 11-year-old girl was killed when a wall collapsed on her bedroom as she was sleeping. 2 other deaths were reported in the city of Caratinga, including a 41-year-old man who was killed when his car fell into a river while he tried to cross a bridge. In Perdago, 2 women, 55 and 79, died when the car they were in was dragged away by floods. In the town of Jatuba, the Perospiba River burst its bank, leaving entire neighborhoods flooded. We lost everything. My wife and children left the house in a boat. Daniel Valorino de Oliveira told AFS news agency entire neighborhoods in Jatuba were partially submerged. Parts of the town of Jatuba were partially submerged after a river broke its banks. Houses were also flooded in the town of Raposos. Brazil Mining Agency said 36 mining dams were in a state of emergency in the state. On Saturday, a dam at an iron ore mine in Nova line overflowed, disrupting traffic on a major highway for 2 days. In the city of Par de Minas, authorities were monitoring the Caras hydroelectric dam amid concerns it would burst. The Civil Defense Authority said that 341 out of the state 853 municipalities had declared a state of emergency because of the severe weather. Meteorologists say that the excessive rain was a result of a summer phenomenon, the South Atlantic convergence zone that caused heavy rains. Belo Horizonte saw 241 7 millimeters, which is 9.5 inches of rain in 72 hours, when the average for the entire month of January is 329 millimeters. The bad weather is also a result of La Nina, a climate pattern in the Pacific Ocean that can affect weather worldwide. Experts also say climate change contributed to extreme weather events across the world. In the last 2 months, heavy rains have affected other areas in Brazil, leaving dozens dead and thousands displaced, with the northeastern state of Baja one of the hardest hit areas. Wow. Now here, when we look at this particular ecology as we go through our perception and direction exam and authenticate the divine vision and revelation of our founder, Dr. Henry Kinley, what we do is that we always grasp the principles that everything is to lead you unto the Messiah. So therefore, when we look at these particular ecologies and these particular principles that manifest, what we try to do is extract all the principles from the scriptures pertaining to the divine vision and revelation given to our founder, Dr. Henry Kinley, as well as follow the scriptures, so that one can be able to get a true understanding based upon the things that are happening, time frame that we are in, and help you understand a little bit of the purpose of the Creator, how he really is and how he actually exists. So this is the reason why that we go through these particular ecologies, newspaper articles to share with you the reality of what's going on in the world. So now here, as it says that in Brazil that there was rains and it was hit by deadly landslides and floods, thousands of residents had to flee their home areas across the state. Landslides and flooding caused by torrential rains have killed at least 15 people in southern eastern Brazil, officials say. The victims died between Sunday and Tuesday. Okay, so now when we look at these particular principles based upon what it's talking about, and we come to the divine vision and revelation of our founder, Dr. Henry Kinley, that brings us right here pertaining to the principles of the flood right here. That's picking up the principles of Noah's Ark, okay? So therefore, pertaining to this particular thing, you see how it's manifested here within darkness, because these are the events and dispensations of the world pertaining to how the world was created, how it was inundated in water, and then after that, pertaining to the creative age, to the ending of the second dispensation, which allows us to fulfill the antediluvian age, allows us to come over here in the post-diluvian age when we're looking at the principles pertaining to Moses, you understand, and what happened to him down here within the land of Egypt. So basically what you're looking at is a period of dispensations, all right? Here we see how the whole world is inundated in water. So therefore, based upon the earth being inundated in water, and we understand these particular principles when it's talking about floods and landslide, things of that particular nature, is that we come here to the origin to see the principles manifest even before the world took on shape and form as we know it to be, as this blue sapphire stone. And then therefore the principles that happened to end this particular age, from the creative age up into the antediluvian age, which was the first and second dispensation through the creative age, through that particular age that we can see the principles manifest here. Okay, so it is talking about when we look at this particular principle, what we're going to do is that we're going to bounce back and forth. Okay, so it is talking about how, along with the landslide based upon the torrential rains, have killed at least 15 people in southern eastern Brazil. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here. Okay, I'm going to show you this principle like this. And then what we're going to do is come back to the divine vision and revelation of our founder and reveal to you the principles there to authenticate how you've seen them here, because we're going to go to his vision to show you the origin of them, of where they abide first, okay, before you see them on the divine vision that was revealed to me. So now when we look at the principle based upon, it says that 15 were dead and that the 15 were in the southern eastern part of Brazil, officials said, okay? So what we do is when we look at the principle of southeastern, okay, so we come here to look at the principle of southern eastern, okay, to understand the principles of what it's talking about when it says that 15 people were dead, okay? And what we do is that we always come here when we look at those particular principles, and what we do is extract the one, okay, from the head of this chaotic creature here, which is principled as what we understand to be as Cain, all right, which received the mark that Elohim had placed upon him for killing his brother, right? So that's allowed us to be able to come here to see that this particular principle and what it's talking about, how that it is within a chaotic state, all right? Just like how the earth was in right here, I'm sorry, how the world was in before it had took on shape and form, okay? So this is how you can be able to see and come here to be able to see that particular principle, all right? So now as we take the one from here, all right, and then we see how everything is pertaining to this outer darkness right here, what we do is that we come to the forehead of the beast, okay? And what we do is that we come here and we extract this particular principle, okay, of 1, 2, 3, 4, which we're picking up the kingdoms of Babylon, Media, Persia, and Greece, all right? That's 4, all right? And so therefore, as well, when we pick up those particular heads, what we do is that it allows us to come back over to here, okay? So I'm gonna make sure that I run these particular principles right. And you will see what I mean when I come back. And so therefore, based upon that, is that when we pick up these particular 4 heads here, we come back and pick up Judas, okay, as the 6th head of the dragon from 1, okay, 4 and 1, that makes 15. So this will be the 1, this will be the 4 to make 14, and add 1 will be the 15, as what we understand it pertaining to this particular landslide and the flooding caused based upon the torrential rains, but based upon it says that it killed 15 people, okay, in the southern eastern part of Brazil. Now it says that the victims died between Sunday and Tuesday, okay? So now what we do is that we want to show you the numeric principle of what it's talking about and how it ties up and brings everything back so that you can be able to understand the principles of what we're talking about. And when we come here to the divine vision and revelation of our founder, Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley, that brings us right here to the principles that manifest here within the days of creation. We come here and see that here we have Elohim manifesting our rescue within his creation. Let me a little more. I want you to grasp these principles. Please forgive me. Because what we're doing is looking at the vision of Moses and John, okay? That's what we're doing right here, all right? Okay. So now, when we see how we have Elohim manifested within his creation right here within the Sabbath day, what we do is that we take the days of the week and we go back in reverse so that we can be able to extract the principles of what it was talking about based upon it says that 15 individuals died in between Sunday and Tuesday. When we come here and see that this is the Sabbath, so therefore we understand that this is Saturday. Here we're looking at the principle that is manifesting here with the 6th day of creation, and understand it's a double day of creation, so therefore this would be Friday, okay? We come here to the 5th day of creation, we see that that would be Thursday, the 4th day would be Wednesday, the 3rd day would be Tuesday. So therefore the day of Tuesday, we understand that Yahweh Elohim rolled the waters back and allowed the vegetation to manifest on the 3rd day of creation. And that is, like I said, Tuesday. The 2nd day would be according to Monday. And then we come here to the 1st day of creation would manifest the principles of Sunday, okay? So it says that 15 individuals died from Sunday to Tuesday, which would be the first 3 days of creation. So when we come here and see how in the 1st day of creation, Yahweh Elohim said, let there be light. Then he divided the waters above from those beneath with the firmament in the middle. And then on the third day of creation, you understand, he rolled the waters back, allowed the vegetation to appear. And then we see how we have all the vegetation, everything manifesting on the third day of creation, right? So that's what we see here when it says that individuals died from Sunday to Tuesday. So what we're looking at based upon these particular principles, when we look at it, that all of these particular principles is manifesting a spiritual principles or spiritual manifestation. What do I mean by that? It's because when we come back here and we look at the principles that had manifested on the first day of creation as the principle of Sunday, because principle as Sunday, we see how the sun was put in the sky on the fourth day of creation, but the first day is a physical manifestation or a spiritual manifestation of the concrete creation of the sun being placed in the sky, because it's a principle of Yahweh Elohim saying, let there be light. And then he placed the sun in the sky on the fourth day of creation before the vegetation that came through from the earth. Now, when we come back here and when he said, let there be light, he separated the light from the darkness because this is a spiritual principle to show how both mysteries had manifested within the creation. So therefore, one is darkness as we come here to the chaos plate, and then the other one is light. And this is why Yahweh Elohim divided the light from the darkness. So from right here, it is showing you the principle or manifestation of the two mysteries that are manifested within the creation, which is good and evil, or light and darkness, okay? And so therefore, based upon that, we see he divided the waters above from those beneath and allowed a firmament to manifest there. And then here from that, dividing the heavens above from those beneath and him rolling the waters back, that this is the first principle, okay? Because we understand that the whole earth was inundated in the water. Okay, and when you roll the waters back, it's likened to a landslide because the whole entire earth was flooded. Then we come here and we start to see vegetation. So therefore, when it's talking about how we had landslides, we had flooding, things of that particular nature, and individuals died from Sunday all the way to Tuesday, that we can see the principles of how that the creation came in based upon these days according to the Spirit, to be able to understand the principles of how that we have these flash floods and the floodings manifest within the creation based upon what it's talking about, the torrential rains. It says that, Minas Gerais state. It says where rivers have overflowed, leaving towns partially submerged. It says more than 2,800 people have had to leave their homes. Authorities are monitoring dams that could burst as more downpours could affect the hardest hit areas. So now it says when we come here, and it says that partially of the town was submerged and 28 people had to leave. 28,000 people had to leave their homes. And it says that authorities are monitoring the dams. So what happens is that allow us to be able to come right here and look at the principles of the River Jordan, because we understand it pertaining to when the children of Israel were getting ready to go to and through divided waters of the River Jordan, that the principle of the River Jordan always overflowed its banks. And therefore it is talking about a river, you understand, because it's talking about principles here of a river. All right. So what we do is that when we look at that, that allows us, okay, to come here and look at the principles that are manifesting here, because we shared with you on more than one occasion that when we come here, that this is principle of Yahweh Elohim said the man within the Garden of Eden that had 4 rivers, you understand, that they came up unto one head, okay, as well as manifesting principles of the rivers of the migratory tract. That when we come here to see the conglomeration of the waters above and those beneath being still conglomerated together, you understand, and therefore here is the principle of the children of Israel going to and through the divided waters of the River Jordan that overflow its banks. And that's why the principle that you're looking at is showing you the waters above and those beneath still conglomerated together and allowing the people to manifest and go through here. Now, it might be a little bit too far away. So what I will do is that I will come here and I will zoom in so that you can be able to grasp the principles of what I'm talking about, because I don't want to be too far away. Okay. So now this will gather those particular principles right here. Okay. Just like what we shared. And so therefore, like I said, it allows us to be able to come back and show us the principles of like what it was talking about from Sunday to Sunday to Tuesday, the individuals were dying, and it brought us here to the third day of creation. We shared with you how the spirit had penetrated the earth plane and rolled the waters back to allow the vegetation to manifest. And then here we're seeing how that on the third day that all the trees and everything that are manifesting, he allowed the division between the blossom and the fruition, okay, which is principle and perfection as the sun's going to and through the divided waters in perfection, going into Canaan's land to receive the inheritance. Seed based upon the promise that Yahweh Elohim had promised Father Abraham. Okay, so we're looking at those particular principles as well. Now, when it's talking about the principles of 2800, that what we do is firstly and foremost, that brings us to the second day of creation, okay? Because we shared with you that when we come here, and I do apologize, let me come back. That when we look at the principles of 28, that we come here to the second day of creation, okay? Because we understand that we come here, that's one, and then we come here, and that's two. Now, we shared with you on many of occasions that based upon when we looked at that the children of Israel had manifested a principle of 8. And what was that after they came to and through the divided waters of the Red Sea, that they manifested out here for some odd 40 years, okay? And they wandered within the wilderness, all right? And so therefore, once they came up here and went to and through the divided waters of the River Jordan, and they went around the walls of Jericho, which we understand these particular principles around the walls of Jericho to allow the walls of Jericho to fall, that was a principle of how the children of Israel had made a figure 8, and they were leaving the second dispensation, coming into the beginning of the post-diluvian age, beginning of the fourth millennium, based upon their departure out of the land of Egypt, okay, which was principled as the beginning of the fourth dispensation, okay, and the establishment of the Mosaic law. So these are the principles that will be looked at based upon the principles of the 28. And we understand that zeros are nothing but placeholders. And it says that 28 people had to leave their homes. So as well, what we do is that when we look at that particular principles, and we share with you how the children of Israel had to dwell within the wilderness 40 years, and then based upon the principles of how they went around the walls of Jericho, that what we have to do as well when we're looking at it being a water principle, okay? And it says that how that the rivers had overflowed, leaving the towns partially submerged, and more than 2,800 people had to leave their homes. Authorities are monitoring the dams that could burst, okay? And more downpour could affect the hardest hit areas. Now, when we do go back and we look at these particular principles pertaining to the second age, the second dispensation, and yes, that is the second age, second dispensation, okay? Because we're looking at the principles of 28, all right? We share with you that this is the second dispensation, the second day, second dispensation, second day, and the second river that is manifesting within the Garden of Eden. So therefore, this is picking up the principles of 2, 4, and 6, okay? But it's not manifesting 2, 4, and 6. It is 2, 2, and 2, okay? Manifesting all principles of 2, showing you the second day of creation, the second river, and the second day, all right? Now, when we come here and we look at these particular principles, and we come back to the divine vision and revelation of our founder, and this is how we authenticate the divine vision and revelation of our founder, that when we come here, and we're looking at the principle of 28, allowing us to be in the antediluvian age, which is the second age, all right? And we're in the second dispensation, if you understand what I'm talking about when I'm just speaking on these particular principles, because we're showing you here that this is the beginning here of the antediluvian age here, based upon the apostasy, okay? Because a man and a woman has come up out of the garden. He had to till the ground from the sweat of his brow. Then based upon their kids, you understand what I'm saying, that here is where Cain slew Abel. And so therefore this was establishment, okay, and the ending of the creative age and coming into the antediluvian age. So now when we come here and we're looking at these particular principles, as I said, that we are in the second age and the second dispensation, that we have Noah, manifesting himself building this particular ark. Now, remember, the principle is 28, all right? So now we're in the second age, picking up the principle of 2. We're in the second dispensation, picking up the principle of 2. So now what happens is to fulfill the principle of 8, that we understand that after the completion of this particular ark that had manifested in the second age, in the second dispensation, that only 8 souls got within this ark. Okay, to show you how, when it says that 28,000 individuals was displaced because of the flood, okay, and the torrential rains that are manifested. You understand? So this is how we come here to fulfill the principles of the 28 principle, because this is the second dispensation, okay, and the second age. And we understand that after the completion of this particular ark, when Yahweh Elohim had closed the door, that it was only 8 souls who entered, all right? Zeros are placeholders. You understand? So this is fulfilling a particular principle about the 28,000 individuals who were displaced, because this is showing you the first ontological state of perfection, or the first principle, which we understand as a ecology, okay? Because what we're doing is picking up these particular principles, okay, of what manifested right here, all right? And so therefore, when we come to the etymology, we understand, which is the word, we come back to the words of the scriptures, you understand, so that when we come to the, I'm looking for the other E, that the etymology is the word, ecology is the principle of organism manifesting within an ecosystem, okay? And so therefore, we're looking at those particular principles there. I'm not going to try to make myself educated. I just want to bring out the principles that are at hand so that you would be able to understand. Now, when we look at, as we move along, and then it says how the waters burst, or the dams burst based upon the hardest hit areas of the rain. It says that 5 people from the same family, 2 of them children, were found buried on a hillside, okay? So what we do is that when we look at that particular principle, it brings us back to the vision that's being revealed. And what we're doing is extracting the principles right here based upon how we have Cain and Abel, which are the children of Adam and Eve. We understand that both of them are twins. So based upon those being the children of Adam and Eve, regardless of their ages and them being grown, that they're picking up the principle of children of the first man and the first woman being the 2, okay? And so therefore it says that 2 of the children were, it says 2 of them children were found buried on a hillside, all right? So what we're doing is that we're going to pick up the principle of the manifestation of 5. So what happens is that when we come to the divine vision and revelation, which is being revealed, what we do is this, all right? Now you have to follow these particular principles. They're not really hard. We're not really making up anything. But what we're doing is just showing you how that the vision coincide with the ecologies that's being revealed. Now, the hillside, when we look at the principles, would be the inner organic earth without being within shape and form, is manifesting the principles of the hillside that is manifesting right here, because we understand that this is the principle of the man laying down and standing up at the same time. And Yahweh Elohim has him laid down, which is the principle of a man, you understand what I'm saying, being created from the dust of the ground, okay? And so therefore we understand that when we come here to the divine vision and revelation of our founder, and when we look at the man coming into creation, and Yahweh Elohim has him in a deep like sleep, that it shows how that he is manifesting the principle of a heap or a mound of dirt laying down, okay? And so therefore we have that manifesting right here, okay? And what we would do is zoom in, okay, to show you the perception and direction exam, as well as authenticating the divine vision and revelation of our founder, Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley. We come here and we show you these particular principles, okay, to where we have the man laying down, and therefore that's the mound of dirt, okay, to where it is manifesting the principle of a hill. Here we're showing you how that when the man was being created, he was created standing up, and he was created out of the side of this particular mountain that had manifested, to where Yahweh had constructed the man, like when you're seeing him right here, because the man was created standing up. You understand? And then after he was created out of the dust of the ground, which was this particular mountain that Yahweh Elohim breathed the breath of life into him, he became a living soul. We're showing you the construction. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm just preaching away and you can't see nothing that I'm talking about. We're showing you the construction of the man here. When Elohim was making the man in his own image and likeness, he created the man standing up. You understand what I'm saying? And showing you how this is a blue sapphire stone, you know what I'm saying, which is in essence to where he is the source, substance, and limits and bounds of all things. And then here is the man being created from the substance of the earth, okay? So therefore, this is for you to understand what's happening here within the cloud. Now here is the unity of the spirit, Yahweh Elohim Yahshua, and he made the man in his likeness, in his image, how man is puma, psyche, soma, which is spirit, soul, and body. All right, and these three are one. So this is how that we extract these particular principles here to show you that. And so when we talk about the hillside and we come back over here, all right, you can understand these particular principles. Now it says that it was 5, okay, who were killed, you understand what I'm saying, on the side of the hill. We come here, we look at the principles of this being the 5th day, 5th dispensation manifesting right here. So therefore, this would be the principle of 5. Here we have the man, we have the woman, and we have the 2 kids. You understand what I'm saying? And so therefore, what we do is that we understand the principles of how Cain has slew Abel, but yet still at the same time that the principles of Cain, he was slew within the principles of the flood. So when we come and we extract another principle, like I said, pertaining to the principle of 5, and this being a family that we have to come up here and extract this particular principle of Judas, you understand what I'm saying, to show you the principle of the 5. Now you say, well, why are you picking up principles of it appears to be good and of evil at the same time? That's not the principle. What we're doing is picking up the principles of death. We understand that Adam, after he came up out of the garden, being created a man at the age of 30 years old, that after he partake of the forbidden fruit, that he had died and manifests himself walking as a walking dead for 900 years. You understand what I'm saying? And so therefore, this is one of the principles of death. We understand that when a woman partook and gave to her husband, that this was a body, you understand what I'm saying, to show you how that they had died spiritually and psychologically. So therefore, her children had to come in physical and carnal, but yet and still we're picking up the numerology of the man, the woman, and their 2 children. You understand what I'm saying? Now, when it says the principle of 5, what we can do is that we can come here and extract the principles of Judas, because Judas hung himself based upon being condemned of what he did to his brother, which was Yahshua. So this is why we come here to pick up that particular principle, because him and Cain, you understand, had manifested the same principle. So this is why we come here within the first dispensation, and we come here, which manifests the principle within the 4th dispensation to pick up 1 and 4 is the principle of 5, okay? Because we shared with you that the 4th dispensation was how Yahshua had came in to fulfill everything that happened within the beginning part of it, beginning with Moses, you understand? Which was the start of the 4th dispensation based upon him leading the children of Israel to and through the divided waters of the Red Sea, okay? Coming from the first world into the next world. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what contributes, you understand what I'm saying, not only leaving one world to another, but the changing of the times pertaining to the principle of one dispensation to another. Now it says as well, and it was buried on the side of the hill. So here, if we understand that this is principle as the hill, this is where they were buried at. You understand what I'm saying? Because this darkness is the manifestation or principle of death. You understand? So this is when we come up here and we see all these particular hills, and it says that they were dead on the side of the hillside, that we extract these particular principles of the hill. Here's Judas being dead, and all of them being on this particular side, as well as this being a mound of dirt, to show you the principle of how all of them were dead on the side of the hillside, okay, to extract those particular principles. Then when we come down, it says that near that in the city of Sale, Ganganello de Rio Ajax, an 11-year-old girl was killed when a wall collapsed on her bedroom as she was sleeping, okay? Now, when we look at this particular principle as well, what we do is that we share it with you on numerous occasions how that when we look at the principle of 11 or we look at the principle of 9, what we do is that we come here because we share with you numerous times how this is the principle of 9, and we come down here and then these two particular towers pick up the principle of 11. Okay, as well as we showed you also another principle of 11 could manifest here with the principles of this of 2 being the Roman number 2 being the second Adam. Okay, this being the first Adam, this being the second Adam. How Yahshua came in to fulfill all principles of the first. So here, when it says that there was an 11-year-old girl, okay, that when we come down here looking at the legs of the woman, here is a woman. Here's her chest cavity like the man. Here's her stomach, okay, to show you the principles of the seed. Like when we come here to the man's loins, that this is to show you how that this, as the righteous seed is coming here to the righteous individual who's within the white area, all red, okay, because this is principle as the book of Elohim manifesting within the loins of Adam. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is where the genealogy started, how all of us were here. And this is the book of Elohim manifesting as the sons of Adam coming down through the ages of dispensation. Because remember, it was only one man and woman that produced all life upon the face of the earth. So here, when we're looking at this particular dot, it's picking up the principles of this chaotic creature because Yahweh Elohim said that he shall blot out everyone who sins against me. Okay, and this is what he told Moses when Moses was looking at his book, and even Moses seeing himself come in, being within the ark, covered with slime and pitch within the flags of the Nile River. Okay, and that's principle as the waters. This is Moses manifesting the spirit because he is the son of Elohim. And remember, after the children of Israel had built, you know what I'm saying, the golden calf, he told the children of Israel that they sinned a great sin. So Moses said that he had to get an atonement for them. So now Moses looking at the genealogies coming in, okay, and we're showing you the principles. This is the righteous, this is the unrighteous, okay, based upon the seed, okay, and we're looking at the two children. You understand that was manifesting within the principles of the woman. We come down here because this is her stomach, her chest cavity like unto the man, and here's the man's legs, so these are her legs. And then you see how she is standing upon a satanic foundation because she was the one who partook of the tree that Yahweh Elohim told her that she shall not, okay? So that is those particular principles there because she was what? Deceived, you understand what I'm saying, by the adversary, okay? And this is to show you how Yahweh Elohim have put enmity between the woman's seed, okay, and the serpent seed, okay? And so therefore we're looking at these particular principles here. So as we share with you that by this being the principle of a woman, the south and red, the red and the yellow showing you principles of this being a righteous woman. The red and green, red, black, and green as well are just basically the principles of red and green is showing you how that she can be a deceptive or a deceitful woman, but yet still when you look at the white, it is showing you how she's fair or good looking, as well as you see the white pertaining to the principles at the hem of her garments, these being her legs. So here being her legs, as the principle of 11 is the age of the young lady, and pertaining to these particular principles that we share with you when we see anything pertaining to anything collapsing, that we always come here because we share with you after the airliners had hit the towers, that the towers had collapsed, as well as this principle of Moses throwing down the tables of stone based upon these two particular twin towers collapsing after the airliners had hit them, okay? We share with you that anything collapsed based upon the chapline towers and other principles that we have had, that we come here to show you principles of a building or something to collapse or to fall. So we come here because in essence, as we shared with you, that we're providing the proof of the destruction of Satan manifesting himself throughout the dispensations, his destruction, okay? So this is what we're showing you, the destruction of Satan and his kingdom throughout the ages of dispensation. So therefore, when we come here and it's a satanic foundation, her being 11 years old, that we see how that the wall collapsed, and that was like unto her death, pertaining to when the woman had partaken, you understand, of the tree, you understand I'm saying that Yahweh Elohim told her not to partake of. All right, so now we're looking at all these particular principles and then leaving the young lady, you understand what I'm saying, in this particular principle of darkness, you understand? But we have to pick up these principles on the outside because they are negative principles and we cannot manifest them within, which is holy, okay? To show you the principles of what manifests within the light or the separation between light and darkness. And that's what the principles which are being ran. As well as when we come down. It says that that reports include in the city that there was a 41-year-old man who was killed when his car fell into a river while trying to cross a bridge. Now, when we look at the principle of 41, okay, what we do is that allows us to be able to come here. And what we're going to do, we're going to come here because we're still authenticating the divine vision and revelation of our founder. Our founder has shared with us and taught us that when we look at a principle pertaining to 40, 40, 41, okay, or 41.5, that is a manifestation of a hour in prophetic time, okay? So therefore, that allows us to be able to come here to the holy place because we understand that this was a principle of 40 years when the men of war, you understand what I'm saying, died off. And they could not travel, you understand what I'm saying, to and through the divided waters of the River Jordan. So therefore, when we hear how that there was a 40-year-old man, you understand, who tried to cross a bridge, okay, and died within the river, you understand what I'm saying, that's how the men of war, you understand what I'm saying, that could not cross over to Canaan's land to receive their inheritance because of the evil report. And as well, we understand that during these particular 40 years, or after the 40 years, that Moses had moved to Mount Nebo to be translated unto the kingdom of Yahshua the Messiah. Okay, so we look at those particular principles as well, all right? And so as well, we can look at this too. We want to see the principle of the bridge, that what we can do is that we can come here, all right, and show you how that when we're looking at these particular principles of the new earth state, okay, and to show you how that the earth, you understand, based upon the new earth state, because when you come here, that this is showing you principles of this is a manifestation of you, okay, being a world within itself, being 25% land and the rest 75% water that has to cross over from the physical over into the spirit, which is a manifestation of us being within the body of Yahshua the Messiah. And this is the reason why that we have the coloration, you understand what I'm saying, of the spirit law coming from the earth plane into King Solomon's temple, because the principle as of the 7 days of creation is showing you how pertaining to the 7 years, you know what I'm saying, of the foundation of this being created after the manner of the earth plane, because everything that you see within this temple is manifested in gold, which is principle as the earth and the creation, with the sun manifesting upon it, you know what I'm saying, given its life. So this is the principle here. And so when you're looking at this particular bridge, it says that the man, you understand what I'm saying, died, okay, trying to cross this particular bridge. So here we have to understand that this is the physical crossing into the spirit. And to understand this particular principle, that we know that no flesh and blood can what? Inherit the kingdom, okay? So this is how we're looking at that based upon, he said that the man drowned or died, you know what I'm saying, trying to cross, okay, a particular river. And looking at the principles of where you're looking at it and manifesting right here is how the children of Israel were within the wilderness for some odd 40 years, okay? Which we understand is pertaining to the principle of an hour in prophetic time, all right? So we wanted to show you those particular principles as well, all right? Now, after that, it says that this happened in the Gale. It says here that 2 women, 55 and 79, died when the car they were in was dragged away by floods, okay? And so when we look at this, it says that here we have 2 women that was in a car, and it says that they died, which was dragged away by the floods, all right? So now what happens is that it brings us, when it's talking about the 2 women, okay? That brings us right back here, all right? You have to understand what we just got through sharing with you, okay? About the principle of what we shared with you, how that this is a manifestation of a woman right here. Either that we shared with you how she's fair, and that this is a woman, and this is to show whether she's a good woman or a bad woman. You understand what I'm saying? So in actuality, what we do is based upon the principle, and we're showing you how Sarah is a manifestation of a good woman and Hagar is a manifestation of a bad woman. And they're both manifesting here at the same time, because we understand that Hagar had Abraham's first son, which was Ishmael. You understand what I'm saying? And Yahweh had told Abraham that Ishmael shall not be, you understand what I'm saying, his heir, okay? But Isaac would be his hair by his wife, okay, instead of the bondwoman, okay, and that would be by Sarah, and the bondwoman had Ishmael. So we come here. So in essence, this is a manifestation of two women in one, okay, just showing you Sarah and Hagar, and this being a woman over here manifested here within this particular principle. So it says that both of the woman was dragged away by the floods, all right? Now we shared with you how that this was the river, you understand what I'm saying, of the devil, or this is manifesting principle of being up under the water. So therefore, this is showing you how both women were being dragged away, okay, and died. Now the one being 55 is a principle pertaining to 5 and 5 is a principle of the law, okay, showing you how we're close to the 5th dispensation and the 5th day, okay, giving the principle of 5. Then the other one being 79. Okay, we share with you that pertaining to the principles of the tabernacle, that there's 7 steps and 9 furnishings. Do you understand what I'm saying? To show you the totality of how the law was being placed within this particular tabernacle, okay? And how that this particular tabernacle was rather beaten. You understand what I'm saying? Torn down, and all these particular things were being placed within the principles of King Solomon's temple of how we go over when we're going over our moderation in class. Now it says as well that that Impera Piva River burst its banks, leaving the entire neighborhood flooded. Okay. Now what happens is that we bring this right back here to the principles, okay, of how the River Jordan overflows its banks. Okay, brings us right back here, okay, to show you that. All right. Now, as well as when we come right back here to show you principles, what I'll do is I just do it here, field chart, right? 40 plate chart. That it says that the river burst its banks, okay, and left the neighborhood submerged in water. Now, we share with you that when we come here and we look at how Jordan overflows banks, it's the principle here and the people going to and through. Brings us right back here to the principles, because it says how that he says that it bursts its banks, leaving the entire neighborhood flooded. It says that we lost everything. Okay, so therefore we're seeing how these particular people had lost everything based upon the flood waters had burst in the window from heaven, and both of the waters from the up above and those beneath came together to create the flood. He said here, he says, my wife and my children had left the house in a boat. Now we understand pertaining to the 8 souls, okay, how his wife and it says that his sons, his 3 sons, okay, had got in the boat. So therefore, this is the principle of when he said that my wife, okay, which is the wife of Noah, all right, when we come here and his children had got in the boat, this is him coming out of the boat, okay? So this is how he said, my wife and my children had got within the boat. That's those particular principles right there. When we come further down, and it says how another river had broke its banks. Houses were also flooded in towns of Brazil. Mining agencies said that 36 mining dams were in a state of emergency. All right. Now, when we look at that particular principle, because it says that it was 36 mining companies that were in state of emergency, that we share with you that when we look at the principles of 36, that we come here to show you how it manifests upon the principles of the apostasy, right? We come here and look at the principles of Alpha Draconis, which also is a manifestation of Pharaoh and the Viceroy, son of Elohim, okay, based on the times and within the ages and dispensations. And we come here to pick up the principle of the 3 sixes, okay, to show you how this particular mining company, okay, was a dam. It says 3 mining dams, okay? So we know about a dam. A dam is something that stops flowage of water. This right here, when you look at the principle, when you're looking at, I'm sorry, can't see what I'm talking about. I said, I think you guys are in here with me, extracting these principles, and all these things were very, very beautiful, okay? So now when we come here and we're looking at this particular stony hard plate, okay, that's manifested within the chest cavity of Alpha Draconis, and then we come in here showing you here that it's manifested St. Peter Vatican, that this is also manifested principles of a dam to stop the flowers from here to there. You know what I'm saying? So if you go all the way around, that the only thing that would stop anything was here, but it's showing you how this particular dam had burst. That's why you see this particular crack right here manifesting within the Stony hard plate. And then this is principle as a dam of how it burst, pertaining to the principle of the 36 mining dams are in a state of emergency. You understand what I'm saying? And it says on Saturday, all right, a dam at the iron Ori mine in Nova, Linamore flooded, and it says it's disrupting traffic on a major highway for 2 days. And so therefore we share with you that this was a highway of destruction, okay? Because broad is a road of destruction. And we always manifest the principles of this being a highway. And it says how that based upon this particular flood, which stopped the iron mine. And now that goes back to show you, because when we look at that, okay, pertaining to the principles of the iron mine, all right, that Yahshua is ruling his kingdom with a iron rod, okay, that we understand that, okay. So when we look at those particular principles, based upon the story, that we see how that the 36 miles in the state of emergency, and then we have another one, okay, that already says that it overflowed and it disrupted traffic on a major highway for 2 days. It says as well when we go on, it says that that a hydroelectric dam amid concerns is burst by the civil defense authorities. It says 341 out of the state of 853 municipalities had declared a state of emergency because of the severe weather. Meteorologists say that excessive rain was a result of a summer phenomenon. The South Atlantic Convergence Zone, which is considered SACZ, it says that caused heavy rainfall. It says saw 241.7 millimeters, which is 9 inches of rain within 72 hours, which is 3 days, all right? Now, when we look at all these particular numbers and everything, and based upon what it is saying, when it is talking about how these particular phenomena, these rains that had manifested, that based upon this particular incident, when it says that it just got 241 or 9 inches of rain, and then it says that the average for the month, the entire month of January, is 329, that is almost off, almost less than 90% of what it would be for the whole entire month, which happened in a period of 3 days. So this is what it's talking about. Now, the principles of 9.5 that we share with you, that within the tabernacle, that 9, it has 9 furnishings, and the principle of 5 puts us within the holy place, okay? So when we look at a 9.5, that's what it's talking about. But what we wanted to sit up and share with you, that when we look at these particular principles, and it's talking about the rain, you understand what I'm saying? That it said that when we look at the principles, and it's talking about Saturday, that it takes us from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, based upon the 3 phenomenal days that happened with Yahshua the Messiah, to show you how that just on 3 days of rain, that it almost rained more than it did within a month. You understand what I'm saying? So we look at these particular things, because when we come here and it's talking about a day for a year, are picking up the principles of time that we're sharing with you based upon the 3 days. You understand what I'm saying, which were the 3 phenomenal days, and showing you how these were phenomenal days of rain based upon a whole entire month. You understand what I'm saying? To pick up the principles of 33. You got 3 days based upon a 30-day month, and showing you that's principles of the lifespan of Yahshua the Messiah when he was placed up here on the cross. You understand what I'm saying? To pick up those particular 3 days, and it was phenomenal days, and showing you that how everything was inundated or buried within water. Okay, it's showing you principles of his burial. And so then it says that the bad weather is also a result of La Nina, a climate pattern in the Pacific Ocean that has affected weather worldwide. It says experts also say the climate change in control of extreme weather events across the world in the last 2 months. Heavy rains have affected other areas in Brazil, leaving dozens dead and thousands displaced. In northern eastern state of Baja of the hardest area. So that brings us to the point when it says that northern eastern brings us right here. We come to north, and then we come here, look at the principles of east, and we're showing you based upon how the destruction or the falling of this particular tree is showing you how that this was one of the principles of the hardest hit areas of what it was talking about because of the falling of this evil malefic tree, which was a tree of the knowledge of good and of evil, which had fell down or was chopped away based upon the law and the prophets, okay, which goes according to what Yahshua said, that every tree that does not bear good fruit is hewed down and cast within the fire and burned. And so that's what you're seeing manifested right here by the principles of Yahweh being my battle axe based upon the principles of the law and the prophets. He's showing you the law and the prophets here, okay, showing you both manifestations of the Messiah, and that shall fulfill the principles of our first college. Now here, when we go to our second college, it brings us to, I believe we are in Russia on this particular ecology right here. It says that a baby found by teenagers in less than 20-degree weather in Siberia is doing well. The baby was found abandoned in an egg box on a remote road near the village of Sosnovka in temperatures as low as 20 degrees Celsius, 4 degrees Fahrenheit. And Siberia is doing well according to Russian officials. So we're in Russia, okay? It says the newborn was found by 5 teenagers in an egg box in a remote road near the village of Sosnovka outside Novosibirsk on Friday. Local reports say the baby girl was rushed to the hospital by one of the teenager's parents, where she was declared fit and well. Police looking for the mother have opened a criminal investigation into the attempted murder of a minor. The parents of one of the teenagers who found the baby wish to adopt her, but must wait to see whether her relatives can be found, taking to Russian newspaper, NGS. The father of one of the teenagers, which was Dmitry Litvinov, said the 5 friends had gone out for a walk on Orthodox Christmas Day. It was already dark. They were shining their phones looking at what was in the box, said Mr. Litvinov. Inside was a baby girl left with a rag-like blanket and a bottle. He added, he and his wife, Anne, were called to the scene by their son, Renette. They took the baby by car to the city hospital. The fear was that the baby girl, who is believed to have been about 3 days old when she was found, might have suffered frostbite and would not survive. Upon arriving at the hospital, a doctor quickly examined the baby and warmed her by gently rubbing her arms and legs. A statement by the regional health minister said, the girl turned pink and was found to be healthy and was later transferred to a children's hospital where she is now being cared for. Talking to NGS, Mr. Litvinov said that she and many of the hospital staff had cried when they heard the child was in the The couple who already had 3 sons now wish to adopt a child, but they first must wait to find out whether the child's relatives can be found. NGS reports that if relatives are found, the new parents must gather documents and take special courses before being allowed to adopt. Now here, when we look at this particular ecology here, and it's talking about the principles of how teenagers have found a baby in 20-degree weather, and it's talking about how the child is doing well, and he found the child within a egg box, okay? So now what we do is that when we look at these particular principles here, okay, and it's talking about it was 20 degrees below zero, all right? that first and foremost that we have shared with you on many of occasions, that when we look at the principles of 20, that takes us to the Hebrew alphabet of Resh, okay? Now, Resh has two meanings, okay? It also means it has principles of a resurrection, okay? So therefore, when we look at the numerical number of the Hebrew hieroglyphics alphabet of Resh, that it has two meanings. You understand what I'm saying? And pretty much all of the alphabet based upon the hieroglyphics has two meanings, based upon it has two mysteries in operation. So therefore, based upon it, it's talking about 20 degrees, okay? And the child was within 20 degree weather, and it says how the baby is doing well. And it says that it was found in an abandoned egg box in a remote grove near a village. Okay, so now when we look at that, all right, what we do is that we come to this particular vision right here, all right. What we want to do is go back over some principles of physiology so that you will be able to understand some of the principles. Now, when it's talking about principles of 20 degrees Celsius, we understand that it's very, very cold. Okay. We look at darkness, you understand what I'm saying? There are principles of darkness because there is no sun, that's an understanding that we can principle that as darkness. Okay. Now, what we want to do is go over some principles of physiology. Now that you see how this particular chart is in square form, that this is principles of a box, okay? And so therefore we will look at this as the box. And we're talking about an egg box. You understand what I'm saying? That we understand that eggs, you understand what I'm saying, are the seed of what manifests on the fifth day of creation based upon the ontological kingdom. You understand what I'm saying? Eggs has to be has, okay? Beautiful thing. Now here we share with you on a few occasions how that when you look at what's manifesting right here based upon how you have the sun and the sun rises, you understand what I'm saying? In the east, we shared you the principles how it sets in the west, and this is the principle of the sun manifesting here at the bottom, in the beginning of the morning rising. Here is the middle part of the day, and then here you understand what I'm saying, that it's setting within its zenith when you're looking at these particular principles here, right? Now, as well as that, that what else you are looking at is that this is the male part of the male genitalia erected within the female genitalia, okay? Because this is a manifestation of intercourse, okay? We're not a extremist organization, so we just come on with it and share with you based upon the things that you're seeing. So in actuality here, you're looking at a manifestation of intercourse right here of how our creator intercourse with us, but yet still is on a spiritual sense. But what we're doing is giving you the physical application based upon what it looks like based upon intercourse and the injection or the motion thereof. Okay. Now, by this being the female genitalia, this is a manifestation of how that when a woman is a virgin, that this is the principle of blood and water. You understand what I'm saying? It manifests to consummate a marriage, all right? And so therefore, what you're looking at right here is that when you see Moses here, and you see in John here, that this is the principle of both testicles that's manifested within the man, okay? This round part is manifesting the part of the testicles, but this is showing you that was within this, okay? Here, when you're looking at the ascension, it's a manifestation of the male spermatism structure being ejaculated, okay, into the fallopian tubes of the woman. So based upon here, by you seeing the spirit manifesting, that's coming up, and you see how the spirit is manifesting here, that here is one of the fallopian tubes on one side, here is the other fallopian tube on the other side, here's the opening part of the womb part. You understand what I'm saying? Here is the erected staff of the man inside of that, based upon the ejaculation, to manifest the principle of a baby. You understand what I'm saying? Manifesting within the womb of a woman and in her amniotic fluids for a period of 40 years. When we look at the principle of this being the court roundabout and this being the holy place, okay? So therefore, just to show you this, okay, is to show you how this is the manifestation of a child within the box, you understand? Now, it's usually when we look at an egg box or we think about something pertaining to an egg, the first thing we think about is a dozen eggs, okay? You understand what I'm saying? You just can't help it, all right? But that's not likely pertaining to a box. We understand that is more. So when we look at that and we understand that pertaining to a dozen eggs is how they'll come here to the first day of creation, the second day of creation, the third day of creation, the fourth day of creation, and based upon the days of creation, which is a representation of the four rivers, how that is broken down according to the principles of the threefold and tabernacle. That will give us a principle of 12, because when we come here to the first day of creation, we go 1, 2, 3, okay, because it's three compartments pertaining to the tabernacle, and these three are one. So this gives us a principle 1, 2, 3. We come here 4, 5, 6. We come here 7, 8, 9, okay, and 10, 11, 12. Speaking principles, okay, of a dozen, or how we understand it to be 12 eggs. But this is showing you how this is the box, and now we have the child within the box, all right? And we wanted to show you those particular principles pertaining to physiology, to show you principles of the child, and as well to show you principles of the child that we share with you, that with the spermatism structure, that this is the head, this is the neck, and this is the tail, okay? So therefore, we got a head, we got a neck, and a tail, that this is the formulation of that particular baby, okay? And this formulation, you understand what I'm saying, within the womb, okay? So this is how that we come up with those particular principles and share that with you, and to show you how that that's the baby within the box. Then as we go along, it says how that there were 5 teenagers that found found an egg box in a remote grove, okay, with the child inside, but it says that it was on the outside of no Subrisk on Friday, local site. Now, we have to understand that when we look at these particular principles that they found the child outside of this particular city, this is manifesting principles of the court roundabout. So this is manifesting principles of the outside, okay? And then it says that it was on Friday. So therefore, when we look at the principles and this being outside and it being Friday, this is pertaining to the day that Yahshua Messiah had died. And we understand that what? It was turning dark, okay, from the 6th to the 9th hour, okay? So we look at these particular principles because it says that when they found the child, that it was at nighttime and they're using their phones, okay, to be able to look in the box to see what was in it. So this is to show you how these particular principles, how it was dark outside. And then it says there was 5 teenagers, all right? And when we look at the principles of teenagers, it always brings us back here to the principles of Cain and Abel. You understand what I'm saying? Because they were children of Adam and Eve. And we're just telling you how that when you are a teenager, that you are above age or you are conscious, okay? Because the age of consciousness starts at the age of 12 years old, to where a young man takes bar mitzvah and the female takes hers at the age of 13, to allow them, when you talk about the age of teenagers, that is the going from adolescence into adulthood, okay? It says that that the baby girl was rushed to a hospital by one of the teenagers' parents, okay? So now it says, talking about a hospital, okay, that by one of the teenagers, here we show you one in the face here, okay? So one of those teenagers, okay, we can either did it good or bad, but we come here to the good because it says that one of the teenagers had called his parents, and the 2 parents, okay, had took the baby girl, okay, to the hospital. You understand what I'm saying? So we would come here to these particular buildings to see that, all right? It says that the police said that the mother who had the child, who abandoned the child, is facing criminal charges, all right? Now, what we want to do is perpetuate, go back as we perpetuate the principles that we're getting ready to run here. Now, when we come here and we show you these particular principles and we see how that the mothers had left these particular childs, go back to, we had one child was left on an airplane in a garbage bin. You understand what I'm saying? And they found the baby on the airliner, and the mother, okay, tried to say that it wasn't her, but she just took a test, you understand, to see if she gave birth, and that was his mother, okay? The mother was doing fine, so was the child. Hallelujah, all praise to Yahweh. Now here we're showing you principles about another baby being abandoned. Going back into the scriptures to where we understand that one of the women had slept on her baby and smothered and killed it. You understand what I'm saying? And took the live baby before Solomon, 2 women, you understand what I'm saying? And then they found out the wisdom of Yahweh Elohim, fear came upon them. As well as we have another story based upon 2 women and the king of Israel. And the women had ate one baby, you understand what I'm saying? It came to eat the other baby, but the other mother had hid the baby so that the other baby could be eaten alive, okay? So this is how that we go back to the origin, you understand what I'm saying, of these particular principles to see how they manifest themselves within the creation, because Yahweh said that the manifestation will change, but the principle will remain the same. So now we have a mother here in this particular ecology who abandoned her child. The police said that they are going to press charges on her for attempted murder of a minor. You understand what I'm saying? It says that one of the teenagers who found the baby said the parents wished they would like to adopt the child. Okay, the father of the teenager, Dmitry Litvinov, said that 5 of his friends gone out on a walk on Orthodox Christmas Day, and it was already dark. All right, there you go, showing you how it was already dark. It says when we come here, when it says let there be light, you understand what I'm saying? That it says that they took their flashlights looking at what they saw in the box. Here we have a box right here within the chest cavity of the man Adam. It says that it was flashing flashlights because it was dark. You understand what I'm saying? So it brings us right back here because it says that it was already dark. You understand what I'm saying? It was an Orthodox day. You understand? And when they look at those particular principles of how when they said they had their light shining up in there, it says that it was 5 teenagers, which brings us right here to the 5th day of creation. You understand what I'm saying? Like we understand it, this is the manifestation of Pentecost, okay, because of the principle of five teenagers, because this is the 5th day of creation, shining light in on the box. Okay, so we come here to the 5th day of creation where we have Moses right here getting ready to eradicate, you understand what I'm saying, this box out of the chest cavity of Elohim right here, okay, because it's getting ready to manifest on the earth plane, how both mysteries that manifested within the realm of eternity is now taking its residence within the physical creation. So we come in here showing you 5 pertaining to the 5 children, because this is pertaining to the spiritual kingdom on earth of Yahshua Messiah. And then by Moses removing these particular principles with the division between light and darkness, okay, that we come here to grasp those particular principles, all right, of the 5 teenagers and then putting light on the box, all right. It says inside was a baby girl left alongside with a rag-like blanket and a bottle. All right. So now what we do is when it says and when they looked inside, it said it was a baby girl left with a rag like blanket and a bottle. He added. All right. Now what happens is that brings us right back here. Okay, because this will allow us that said they looked inside the box. This is the box and this is nothing, right? Another box right here showing you how this particular box is showing you the book of Elohim and all lives of all individuals pertaining to the book of Elohim that manifests within the world. Okay, so now they looked inside the box. It says that when they looked inside the box that it was a rag-like blanket. All right, why is that? Is because of the principles of what we see on TV. And we come here, all right. And it says that when they had found Moses, that he was wrapped in swaddling cloths, all right? So that brings us right back here to show you how that when Moses was found, it says beginning at Moses, that when we come here, you understand what I'm saying, that we see Moses here within the flags of the Nile River, okay, covered in slime and pitch. And so therefore, when Pharaoh's daughter came out to bathe and she sent her handmaid to fetch it, and they opened up this particular ark, and they seen Moses in there, took him out, that he had a swaddling clothes on. You understand what I'm saying? Likened to a rag-like blanket of what it was talking about. Now, Moses didn't have a bottle, okay? Because back in those days, you understand what I'm saying, that the women breastfed, okay? So now, based upon those particular principles, that we have to understand that since the baby had a child, that Moses' sister was there, okay, watching to see what will become of him. And then she had approached Pharaoh's daughter and says that, would you like for me to fetch the child's mother? And she says, do so, and I will pay you wages, because she knew that the mother could feed or feed the child. And it says that after the child was weaned, that she gave the child back unto Pharaoh's daughter. You understand what I'm saying? So when we look at the principles of wean, you understand what I'm saying, and there being a bottle in there, that's picking up the principles of how the child was feeding or being weaned. You understand what I'm saying? But we have to go back and see that based upon these principles, and they found the child on Friday night, okay, that when we come back here and we're sharing with you the principles of the 3 phenomenal days of Yahshua the Messiah, it said that the young child was only 3 days old. 3 days old and it being nighttime. So based upon it being the young girl being 3 days old, okay, that there was 3 phenomenal days, you understand what I'm saying, based upon when the Messiah had died. We understand that there was 2 phenomenal days within one, to where it turned light and dark within one day. That happened on Friday, and this was Friday night. You understand what I'm saying? That they found the baby, and the baby was 3 days old, based upon the 3 phenomenal days of the death of Yahshua the Messiah. So we're showing you these particular principles as well. Now, based upon after the 3 phenomenal days of Yahshua the Messiah, that Yahshua had resurrected from the grave. You understand what I'm saying? Because we share with you based upon the principles of rest, that also mean a representation of a resurrection, of which we have right here. They resurrected the baby out of the box, like the principles of what happened with Moses when he was resurrected. You understand what I'm saying? Out of the flags of the river Nile, that we share with you, that these particular fig leaves around the man's loins is a representation of the flags of the river Nile. And this is showing you the waters, you understand what I'm saying, that he was in, which was the river Nile. And this is to show you the spirit and the inside, or the interior, and that was showing you principles of the exterior that was over there. And so as we move along, it says that they was afraid that the child was going to suffer a frostbite, okay, and would not survive upon arriving at the hospital. All right, so the child did not have any frostbite. Nothing was wrong with it. Why? Because it wasn't nothing with Moses when they extracted him up out of the ark. Okay, nothing happened. And we understand that he was within the river Nile, based upon a lot of alligators. Okay, because they were just throwing the children within the river, you know what I'm saying, and killing them at that particular time. It says that when the child had arrived, that a doctor had examined the baby and warmed her by gently rubbing her arms and her legs, okay? So now when we come here and we're looking at the fire, okay, or the explosion happened right here on the legs of this particular woman. This is the principle, because it's fire, and this is the legs of how the doctor is warming the child's legs. You understand what I'm saying? As well as when we come here and we look at the principles based upon how Yahweh said, let there be light. We're looking at the man's chest cavity, and what's going on right here on his arms is showing you fire, or warmth on his arm, and warmth, you know what I'm saying, on her legs. So if his arms is in this particular area, her arms would have to be to show you the principles of the warming. You understand what I'm saying, by the principles of the fire manifesting right down here. And as well, just to truthfully give it to you, that this is a manifested principle of the lake of fire. So this is showing you how her legs and her arms were being warmed, you understand what I'm saying, by the doctor. It says that the National Health Ministry said that the girl turned pink and was found to be healthy. We come here and we look at coloration, you understand what I'm saying, of the pigmentation, to show you the pink pigment type coloration, to show you the coloration of the child, okay, based upon said that she turned pink, was found to be healthy, and then later transferred to a children's hospital, okay? So that will grasp those particular principles of there. And then we can come here, you understand, and show you principles of when we're looking at the woman that was being extracted out of the man. We can show you these particular principles well, based upon the coloration, the pigmentation of the skin, and then showing you principles of how the warming of the legs and of the arms of the child. Okay, here go the arms, here go the legs. Okay, and with the red on being on the outside is the principle of the warming. You understand what I'm saying? These two is showing you principles of her lungs. Okay, and showing you the coloration. Okay, of the particular child, which is on the inside as a representation of what's going on the outside. It says that as well that couple that found the child already had 3 sons, okay? We look at the principles of 3 sons, beautiful principle, okay? And it says that they wish to adopt the child, but it says first they must wait to find out whether the child has relatives, and then if not, then they will be presented to the new parents, you understand? And so therefore, how it says that old things are passed away, behold, all things become new. That is pertaining to the things and the ramifications that happen within the scriptures. And so therefore, that's how we extract that and share with you the fundamentals of our second ecology. Now here, when we come to our third ecology, it takes us to zoology and brings us to Africa. And I thought that this ecology was very, very beautiful to me. It says here how a lioness, okay, shows love, right? Talking about a cat, a lion, okay? And it says the lioness showed love for a wildebeest cat in Tanzania. A wildlife official has described as an act of love. A lioness decision to escort a young wildebeest to a safe point for its mother to pick it up within a Serengeti National Park. For a big cat to do this was unusual. And it was a case of the lioness' maternal instinct overriding her predatory instinct. Tanzania National Park Authority spokesman Pascal Shilutiti told the BBC News. A video of the scene captured on January 9th in the world famous game reserve have been posted on Twitter. Now here in this particular ecology, that when it says and it's talking about its maternal instinct, that here it is showing in the animal kingdom, which is the manifestation of the kingdom of Yahshua Messiah, how animals have appear to have more moralistical values than us people. You understand? Now here you got a lioness, okay? And it says that a lioness put away her predatory instinct to manifest maternal instincts to override for this particular lioness to take a wildebeest and escort it into his mother without eating it. They said that this was totally unusual. And when you look at the video that it showed, you understand what I'm saying? That it was just really, really phenomenal. And I thought that this was very, very beautiful, which is one of the attributes of Yahweh Elohim. And then love is also a manifestation of an attribute of Yahweh Elohim to show how this lioness had the, what we talk about, that we share in class about the philoprogenitiveness. And if you have been with us for some time, that we understand it pertaining to this particular chart here, that this is the chart of philoprogenitiveness, meaning that how a parent can have natural love for its offspring, you understand? But here it is showing how a lioness is showing philoprogenitiveness for another animal, not her own offspring, but another animal, to reunite them, you understand what I'm saying? To show one woman's understanding of their offspring to another, okay? Now, I really thought that that was amazing, because how we just sit up and share with you within one ecology, the principles of two women, you understand what I'm saying, dying, okay? Here we're showing two women that's manifesting within the animal kingdom, having a love for the offspring of a child. Based upon here, we are reading how the mother did what? Just took the child, left it in a box to die. And then as well as taking another child and leaving it within a dumpster. You understand what I'm saying? Now, how is it that you have physical mothers that's leaving their child in egg boxes in a remote road, you know what I'm saying? A dark remote road at 20 degrees below zero weather? What type of moralistical values is that? That's an innocent baby child. But just to show you how, you understand what I'm saying, how one meant it for bad, Yahweh meant it for good, and saved that child and brought those 5 children, you understand what I'm saying, to deliver the child. It's like the child that was on the airplane, how the staff had went and made its rounds, you understand what I'm saying, and found that beautiful child, you understand what I'm saying, in a garbage can, and then they brought it, you know what I'm saying, back and gave it to the doctors. But now it's just showing you how the instinctive love of an animal is showing how it's overriding that, you understand what I'm saying, of natural physical human beings. You understand what I'm saying? So what do you got to say about that? Here is nature, you understand what I'm saying, manifesting things above, okay, human beings, to where, I don't even want to go there, how we are supposed to be greater in stature and greater in nature, you understand what I'm saying, to where we are deploralizing human life based upon the things you know that we are facilitating in these particular newspaper articles. And this is the reason why Yahweh Elohim had me go to this, to show you how that the animal kingdom, you understand what I'm saying, okay, which is not up under
okay, the guidelines and laws that we are. These animals are up under spirit law, okay? So the things that they do based upon spirit law are things what they need to do based upon survival. And based upon that, it is showing how they put that they got moralistical values even in spirit law above the laws and judgment of mankind upon the face of the earth. And I just wanted to sit up and say that, you know, because that's really real. Now, when we come and we look at these particular principles, all right, now we're going to come to the authentication, all right, of these particular things. And we come here to the chart that we come here. And when we come here, see, I find it beautiful because look at this, okay? Here we got the ruminant kingdom manifesting here with the Philadelphia or the Lioness kingdom, okay, which is pertaining to the cat kingdom, okay? And when we come here and we're showing you principles of this particular cougar, and here we come to the GNU called a GNU, okay? That's known as a wildebeest, and we come right here. Now the wildebeest is kind of hiding behind this water buffalo, but yet and still that this is the wildebeest here. And then here's the principles of the lioness or cougar, you understand what I'm saying, which escorted the wildebeest into its mom. Here, what we're looking at, when we're looking at what's manifested right here, and it's showing you principles of how we are in heaven or within the kingdom, okay, to separate the things that are manifesting here above opposed to those things that are manifesting down here beneath, okay, when we look at these particular principles like this, okay, let me show you what I'm talking about, all right? These are the things above, these are the things beneath, these are heavenly, these are earthly things. Do you understand what I'm saying? To show you two worlds consisting simultaneously within one, all right? This is taking you back to the times of the first creation of the man and the woman and everything that was created. You understand what I'm saying? Of how Yahweh Elohim has said to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the whole earth, okay? So based upon that commandment, all right, you got these particular animals who were created before man and the woman, you understand what I'm saying, manifesting these particular moralistical values above the creation that came in behind them. Okay, because of the instinct to show you how Yahweh Elohim is within these animals, manifesting the things up under spiritual law, because he had given life unto all things. And this is a manifestation of how Yahweh is doing all of his pleasures. Okay, so we wanted to show you the principles of how we have the ruminant, you understand what I'm saying, which are horned animals, okay, which you understand to be goats, sheep, deer, things of that particular nature that have horns, all right? And then we have the caddis felinis, you understand what I'm saying, which are the cats upon the face of the earth. And this is how, when they were created, we understand that cats didn't eat meat in the beginning, all of them ate vegetation. You understand what I'm saying? Even that within the ark, okay, which manifests here. And then after the ark, when they came out, after Yahweh allowed them to come out, but that's when everything changed and then animals started to eat meat. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, it went from vegetation to meat, okay? So this is how we look at these particular things based upon the changing of the ages and the dispensations. All this is particular manifesting. And then how that they had manifested the attribute, okay, of love, okay? And to be able to escort that particular wildebeest to its mom. And they said that that is unlikely, okay? Now, we've been showing you unlikely phenomenons, things how they say based upon the things that have been happening within these ecologies, how things have been unclear, that this is unlikely. You understand what I'm saying? Because on the natural, that lion would have ate that little wildebeest. That would have been a good snack, okay? And especially if that particular lion had cubs, you understand? So with that, pertaining to that particular ecology, I thought that that was outstanding, okay? Very, very beautiful. Now here we come to our fourth and our final ecology for the evening. And it takes us to Africa. And on a little bit sadder note, it says that children die after church collapse in Nigeria. The building was reportedly being used for the first time. And at least 2 children and a woman were killed after a church collapsed during a service on Tuesday evening in Asaba, the capital of Nigeria's southern Delta state. Police have confirmed to the BBC rescue used to excavate until the early hours of Wednesday to dig through the rubble to find survivors. Delta State Police spokesman Bright Edafe said that 18 people, including children, had been rescued. 11 of them sustained injuries and were being treated in the hospital. He added, the building was reportedly being used for the first time. It is still unclear what caused it to collapse in November. More than 40 people died in a partially built block of luxury apartment collapse in the city of Lagos. Construction experts say a lot of buildings caving in because of substantial materials negligence and the flouting of construction regulations, morals, values, okay? Now, when we look at this and it's talking about, boy, when it is talk about how over here that my brethren, my African brethren are building these particular homes, buildings, things of particular nature that they have a lot of negligence, substandard materials negligence and flouting of construction, okay? Now, when I hear these particular things like that, like when I hear flouting, substandard, negligence, that those are physical characteristics being manifested, you understand what I'm saying, towards people, you understand? And I find this a lot because I'm a victim of flouting, you understand what I'm saying, how people like to flout, okay? And I see this happen a lot. And because of these particular manifestations, based upon, like I said, when you see your people doing things, you understand, and like I said, I'm not going to go tit for tat based upon these particular things, but you see how they keep manifesting within the earth plane and how these things are openly being talked about and discussed and being brought out based upon the things that are happening, okay, to people, you understand what I'm saying, it's pointing the fingers at other people and their natural love, okay, to be able to do things right. You know what I'm saying? Just the natural instinct to want to do things right based upon accomplishments. And it's showing you that the lawlessness or the love of many is waxing cold and it is happening, you understand what I'm saying, and being revealed through things that are made. You understand what I'm saying? Going back to how we principle things as Romans 19 to 20. Now here, when it says that children die after the collapse in Nigeria, we share with you when we talk about things collapse, like when we share with you based upon the chapter towers and other things that when we talk about collapse, that we come right here, okay? And we're showing you this particular building that had collapsed. It says that there was 2 children and a woman killed, all right? Here we have 2 women that we share, 2 children here within the woman, okay, because this woman is pregnant with twins, all right, pertaining to the principles that we shared with you, how Eve had Cain and Abel, all right, and so therefore, when we look at these particular principles of how we got Rebecca, okay, with Esau, who I hated, Jacob, who I love, Esau, who I hated, okay? Now, when Rebecca had the 2 twins in her womb and Yahweh Elohim said that you got 2 nations of people, it goes back to when Eve had 2 mysteries within her womb. You understand what I'm saying? And you have to have someone somewhere, okay, to show you the beginning or the ontological state of perfection of how that is getting ready to come, which we understand to be a etiology. You understand what I'm saying? Or the cause of effect of why things manifest, all right, based upon the etymology, which is the word. Okay, so when it's talking about how 2 children and a woman died in a collapsed building, that here is a collapsed building, here are 2 children within the womb of the woman, and here is the woman, and showing you how they are within darkness, and showing you the principles of how they died within the rubble, okay, pertaining to this particular darkness. It says as well that that this happened on Tuesday evening. When it comes back to Tuesday evening, what happens is that we understand that that allows us to come to the 3rd day of creation, to where we understand how that the vegetation, okay, where the waters was rolled back, vegetation had manifested and everything went into the division between fruition and blossom, all right? So when we come here and we understand that this is a manifestation of Tuesday evening, okay, that here we have 2 trees that manifest within the midst of the garden, which was the tree of life, pertaining to this particular tree, which is a spiritual tree, and then the tree of knowledge of good and of evil, because there was two trees within the midst of the garden. And this had manifested on Tuesday, according to the divine pattern, when we shared with you in our opening statements, based upon how when our first ecology, how it says that people died from Sunday to Tuesday. We went over the days of creation to show you that when we got to Tuesday, that it was a manifesting the third day of creation. All right. So now that brings us all the way here, because this is principle here as the third day of creation, and we're going to show you principles, the reason why that this particular church collapsed. Okay. Because when we get here to the third day of creation, and we're talking about the tree of knowledge of good and of evil, and it says how they were within the church, you understand, and it says how it collapsed. All right. That when we come here to the top part of this particular tree, okay, which brings us to the day of Tuesday. All right. Now, see, this is how our founder was able to tell you spiritual things by the watch on his hand, the days, time, and when these particular things were going to happen. Okay. Now, what I'm doing is going back after the fact, sharing you these particular ecologies, just like how our founder would tell you. Now I'm coming back explaining you why they happened based upon the days of the creation, because the founder told you by the vision what was getting ready to happen. So I'm explaining to you by the vision what has already taken place by something that was created. You understand what I'm saying? Even before these particular ecologies had manifested, and showing you how this particular chart is made, that it was divinely made by the creator, because these particular newspaper articles couldn't fit it like they do. Okay, so now when we come back here to the third day of creation, and we're showing you these particular principles here, that we're showing you how that we have the Protestant church, we have the Roman Catholicism church, okay, and also our religious organization, which is the Institute of Divine Metaphysical Research, manifesting here. All right, so here when we got these three particular religions right here manifesting on the top part of this tree of knowledge of good and of evil, and based upon the principles of what we shared with you, how Yahshua said that every tree that is evil is hewed down, you know what I'm saying, and cast into the fire. So this is showing you what happened on the third day, that after the principles of the third day of creation being fulfilled, how this tree, you understand what I'm saying, has fallen down or have collapsed, is the principle of how they being within this church. And it's the first time within the building. You understand what I'm saying? Why? Because it's going back to the first time that this tree was stood up in the garden, and then it was being eradicated out of the garden of Yahweh Elohim. You understand what I'm saying? So this is just showing you how this is the first tree are being a building, you understand what I'm saying, being entered for the first time. So this is showing you those particular principles here. Here is the falling of this particular tree based upon the principles of how the children of Israel had made the walls of Jericho collapse. So this is the reason why that this particular building collapsed, because they didn't understand how the walls of Jericho collapsed by the children of Israel going around it 7 times and shouting. Okay, it was unclear how that happened. So therefore, by the collapse of this particular church, you understand what I'm saying, they're not going to understand how that collapsed. Okay, it is the same particular principles. Now, we read to you what Yahweh was going to do to the inhabitants of Africa. You understand what I'm saying? That did not worship his name. Okay, didn't make a difference what they were doing. That he said that all your idols and all those particular things, that he has brought wrath upon the land, because the people are not serving Yahweh Elohim. They're burning incense on the top of the churches. They got their idols, they got their deities, and Yahweh Elohim is bringing wrath upon all those who know not Yahweh. So this is the principle pertaining to how this church collapsed. When you're looking at this particular tree of knowledge of good and of evil that had manifested on Tuesday, within the night, you understand what I'm saying, has collapsed, okay, with a woman, okay, and 2 children. And we share with you how all these are particular principles that are manifesting within the court roundabout, okay, of this particular chart, because it is principled as what's going on amongst the nations, and as well as the court that's without, when the angel had told John, okay, measure it. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, when we look at this, all right, and the angel said, measure not the court without, because it's given unto the Gentiles for a short amount of time, that this is the bigger picture based upon the court that the angel told him not to be able to measure, that this is a bigger picture manifesting simultaneously based upon what you're looking at right here, okay? Because just like how we come here to the place of the orchard to see how Moses is sharing with you what had manifested within the spirit, how it is taking its residence on the physical earth plane, how we share with you on our ages and dispensations chart, And we have been saying this from the beginning, okay? How that everything that had took its residence within the angelic creation is taking its residence within the physical, okay? And this is our Romans 1:19 and 20, what the founder was sitting up talking about, okay? So we just wanted to sit up and show you those particular principles there. Now, when it's talking about the principles of delta, delta is the principle of 4. You understand? And 4 is the number of change. And so therefore, when it's talking about delta state, that based upon that state is bringing you right up here, because that state of consciousness, you understand what I'm saying, is supposed to have a change based upon it being physical. Okay, when we look at the physical principles of what's above the head, the line that is going into its transition from physical to spiritual. Okay, so that's what we're looking at right here, based upon the principles of delta or change. Okay, and that's 4 in Greek. It says that the state spokesman said that 18 people, including children, have been rescued. All right, now 18, it brings us right back here, pertaining to the principles of 666, or 3 and 6. Okay, 1 and 8. All right, we come here to see how it says that 18 individuals, people, including children, was rescued, but it says that 11 of them sustained injuries and being suffered injuries and being treated in the hospital. So therefore, when we come here and we look at the number 11, it says that those 11 did what? Sustain injuries and being placed within the hospital. Why? Because of these particular principles that we share with you, based upon the principles of 11, or 1:1 being the legs of the woman, and how it's based upon a satanic foundation. Okay, so this is the reason why that we come here, and based upon the 18, that 11 level, you understand someone was injured. Okay, so therefore we see how that you have 7, okay, of the 18, okay, there wasn't nothing wrong with them, and that's principle as a 7 that's on top of the head of this particular beast. You understand what I'm saying? To pick up all those particular principles of the 18. And as we move along, it says that this was the first time that the building was being entered. And then here it says that it collapsed in November, that more than 40 people died when a built block of luxury apartments collapsed in the city of Logos. So therefore, when we come back here, just like how we share with you how this vision is in block form, and we share with you based upon this block form, how it manifested a corner block in one ecology, based upon things were being destroyed. Then it's a manifestation of a box, an egg box, and then we come back and show you how. No, this is going back to the block of the apartments in the Bronx. You understand what I'm saying? How a whole square block caught on fire. Okay, based upon those apartments in New York, we come here to show you that, and this is the principle of that whole square block that was on fire, based upon the principles that we shared with you. Then we come back to show you that this is also a box with an egg box, okay, with the child in it, and then it's showing you how 40 was killed based upon a built block luxury apartment. So that based upon the apartments that we shared with you that happened in New York, this is the same principle there. We have a 40 principle manifesting right here within the holy place. You understand, just like how we have a 40 principle to manifest here on the divine vision of revelation of our founder. And so therefore, when we look at that, that we know that the men of war that was out here within the wilderness died after 40 years, picking up that particular principle to show you how that in that, when we're talking about the collapse of these particular apartments, picking up the 40 principles, how it manifested here within the holy place, all right? And so, when we look at, like I said, these particular definitions, okay? And when we look at the principles of sub, okay, and substandard, the sub means, you know, to a lower level, all right? So here, when we look at the court roundabout, that's a lower level. You understand what I'm saying? And that's how these individuals up under the dictates of Satan, you understand what I'm saying, treats the sons of Elohim, okay? And the sons of Elohim didn't do nothing to them, but yet and still that they treat them on a lower level. It says as well as a secondary action. They're not held at the high esteem as they treat those other demons, okay? Just like how it says when Yahshua was going against the Sanhedrin, Pharisees, and scribes, of how they like to be held in high esteem, you understand what I'm saying, in the synagogues and amongst the people, but yet and still they treated everybody beneath them. So that's picking up the same principles of what it's talking about substandard, okay? And then it says subordinate, okay? Below the usual
regulated standard. You understand what I'm saying? So they try to treat, you know what I'm saying, people beneath them or below them. You understand what I'm saying? To where it's really the other way around, to where the people who they treat below them is of higher quality and standard than them, but they like to try to change it around. But be that as it may, when it goes back to the laws of Yahweh Elohim, it says he says, what is the greatest commandment? He said to love your neighbor as you love yourself. You wouldn't do the things to your neighbor if you love your neighbor like you love yourself, the way you wouldn't covet your neighbor's wife, you wouldn't steal from your neighbor. You understand what I'm saying? Because you wouldn't want that done to you. And this is what Yahshua was talking about amongst the Pharisees and scribes and the Sanhedrin council when we're coming here and we're looking at these principles based upon this ecology, not talking about people, but it's talking about the structure of the building and those who build the buildings. You understand what I'm saying? Why are we talking about that? For the simple fact that when the children of Israel came up out of the land of Egypt and the construction of this tabernacle was made, that the builders who built the treasure cities of Pharaoh wanted to build this particular tabernacle, okay? Because they said that the way Moses wanted to build the construction of it wouldn't last. Yahweh didn't want them to stay out there that long to build it for it to last like that. So therefore, these particular builders and these master builders, you understand what I'm saying, is showing you how their construction, you understand what I'm saying, it wouldn't have been substantial in the first place, based upon when they kicked up against Moses. So that's why Moses says, all who's on Yahweh's side stand here, and those who's on their side stand over here. The ground opened up and it ate them. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the reason why. Because of their plans of construction, you understand what I'm saying, it does not substantiate, you know what I'm saying, the principles of Yahweh Elohim. So everything, when we look at that's within the creation, that Yahweh Elohim only had man construct three things, okay? In the second age, in the antediluvian age, Yahweh had the man to build this ark, okay? For the 8 souls, you understand what I'm saying, who survived, okay, to come across. And then we understand it in the third dispensation, which is the postal dispensation that he had Moses to build this particular threefold and tangible tabernacle in the same construction or manner that Noah had built this particular ark, okay? And then after that, we understand still within the post-diluvian age, because the post-diluvian age was a little bit longer age, that here we have King Solomon's temple being made. So here we have Noah's Ark, the tabernacle of Moses, and the temple of King Solomon. And these are the only 3 construction by divine specification that Yahweh Elohim had told man to make. Okay, and this is showing you how that even from the Gentiles to the Jews, and we're talking about the Gentiles because Noah was a Gentile, okay? We understand those particular principles there, that based upon the construction from here to here was divinely inspired by Yahweh Elohim, by his divine pattern that's testifying of him, okay? So here we're seeing how these buildings, you know, that's being built without the holy specification of the Holy Spirit, you understand, that are of the Creator, are collapsing and they're falling down. You understand what I'm saying? And so we're looking at these particular principles as well, because the things that a man is doing is chaotic and they're not principles after or moralistical value after Yahweh Elohim, and they build them after this particular satanic foundation. So therefore, all of these particular things are collapsing. So what do you mean when you say that the buildings that they're building is of a satanic foundation? Because it's bringing us back here, showing you how that was a church and it failed just like this particular tree did. You understand what I'm saying? Because of how these particular individuals are not serving the true, okay, Elohim, okay, and using his true and holy name, okay? And so therefore he is using the things that are manifesting within the creation so that individuals can get an understanding and be able to come unto him in spirit and in truth, okay? Now, one of these others, okay, when I was talking about flouting, okay, flouting means to openly disregard, okay, as well as mock and scoff. You understand what I'm saying? That's what it is talking about with these particular characteristics. You understand? And when I read it and it says a rule or a law of convention, you understand what I'm saying? To where individuals conspire, okay, to do individuals evil. Like how it talks about over there in Proverbs, the 1st chapter, how it says, let us all have one purse. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, the Creator said that he will laugh and mock you when your calamity comes. You understand? So therefore, what we're doing is going back and showing you how
that the destruction, you understand what I'm saying, of Satan and his kingdom is manifested in how he is tearing down, okay, the particular kingdoms of Satan. All right. And this is what we're trying to let you know, how Yahweh Elohim is taking out his 7 vials of wrath upon the whole entire creation and showing you it to you biblically. That's the reason why that we have these pandemics happening. We have flash floods. You understand what I'm saying? And then people are dying, and it's not being accounted for based upon these phenomenons that are happening, and these individuals are losing their lives. Okay. And then it's going back. Don't you notice? Don't you see how it's going back to where it's showing you principle of how a lot of women and a lot of children are dying, because it is taking you back to the kingship of this particular chart to show you how that when it was pertaining to the man in the beginning, when we was talking about the genealogies or the generations of Adam, how it was showing you principles of the man. Okay, and it was talking about the man of the seed, and women was not mentioned. But after we get up here pertaining to the kingship, that is dictated and showing you things pertaining to the woman, and how the subtlety of what the woman did throughout the ages and dispensations. Okay, we start of how that when Jacob was getting ready to bless his sons, how I believe it was Rebecca said she told her son to go and get a goat so I can make venison before your brother get back to receive a blessing. You understand what I'm saying? That she did that. And then when we come up here to see the things that the woman had manifested, because it's going back to show you how that the woman was in the transgression and not the man, but we have to understand that their name was Adam. This is to show you the other counterpart, okay? Now, I'm not trying to sit up and say that women are evil. I'm not trying to say Eve was evil. I'm not doing that. But what I'm trying to sit up and show you is a distinction of based upon what happened in the beginning, okay, pertaining to the sin that Yahshua had came in, okay, and made right upon the whole face of the earth. And so based upon his blood that was shed, you understand what I'm saying, that gave a fresh start to everybody within the earth plane after the death, burial, and resurrection of Yahshua Messiah. So therefore, no man or no woman is considered evil. You understand what I'm saying? We all have a fair and clean slate. But what I'm trying to show you that pertaining to the purpose of Yahweh, that when we go back, okay, based upon when we're looking at these particular principles, it was always shown how that a woman, you know what I'm saying, had betrayed the man, or it was some type of sin that the woman was doing, okay, to bring the downfall, okay? And then as well as how that the woman influenced the children to do what the mother said to do. So this is the reason why that is showing based upon the decision of the woman, how the children are sitting up dying. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's going back based upon the decision of when the woman partook of the tree, saying how she considered it to make one wise and good for food, she partook. Okay, and so therefore pertaining to the nature of how the woman was trying to be wise or wiser than the man, you understand what I'm saying? It was betrayal of death, and not only for her, but for the children. You understand? So this is how that we go back. Now, when you go back and I say pertaining to the kingship, and you look at the things pertaining to the kings of Israel, okay, and you look at their wives and the things that had happened, that when we get off into that part of the book that you hear more so of the women and the things, you understand what I'm saying, that they were doing, because that brings us back up to the point to where when we come to the divine vision and revelation of our founder, and we look at the things pertaining to Father Abraham and how Abraham had an Egyptian, okay, and then the promised seed of his wife, okay, which was the seed that was manifesting in the Yahweh Elohim said that the seed shall come through his wife, okay, when we're looking at the birth of Isaac, that this is the beginning of all of that, okay? And that's why we come here and we look at these particular things manifest right here, all right? So we just wanted to come here and be able to show you these things because this was the origin of it, all right? And so along with that, you can kind of understand of how these principles all the way perpetuate. So like I said, when we look at how, when it's coming and we're looking at how the building of these particular things is breaking down the characteristics of how individuals do, because that brings us right back here to the Tower of Babel, okay, when the Tower of Babel was being constructed. So therefore, since that was not based upon the divine specifications of Yahweh Elohim, and this was based upon the satanic foundation, okay, this is the same thing that's manifesting right now within the earth plane based upon all the things, you see what I'm saying, that were being created, you know? So this is our fourth and our last ecology that had manifested within Africa. And I do hope that you got some type of understanding based upon the things that we were sharing with you with our ecologies. And we hope that it was beneficial based upon your spiritual appetite. So at this particular time, we will conclude our lecture. Thank you for joining us. And we will be ending this with the last two verses of Ephesians, which reads as follows. Now to him that is able to do exceedingly abundant all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. Unto him be glory in the assembly by Yahshua the Messiah throughout all generations and all ages. Let us all say hallelujah. Thank you, and let us go hence and shalom.